office?
I did, Prof, yesterday.
Okay.
Zandi, looks like Julia is joined as a participant. No, she's under, she doesn't have any other function.
She's in the panelist platform.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
I can see her sound now.
Okay.
Julia, do you want to unmute and just see if it's working?
Hi, everybody. So now
Hi.
I have a mic, but I don't think I hear you. Can you say something, Hilda?
Yes, we can hear you.
No, I can't hear you. I see that you're speaking, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Try to change the mic and speaker setting. To work. So can you say something, Hilda?
Yes. Good morning, Julia. Can you hear me now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Good,
Then we
good.
got it. Good. Awesome. Thank you. Good to see you and good to hear you.
Yes, you too. We have interpretation. No, you're not expecting us to speak.
Yes, we do. We're waiting for Antonio to join us and then we can just test. Zandi has been in touch with him to join us 10 minutes early, I hope, today.
Okay, just switching off the camera to see. Okay, because I have like 3 cameras and I never know which one is coming up. Sometimes I can see myself.
I have one up here too, and then it shows like up into the roof.
Exactly.
It's good to see you there.
Oh, hi, Shepard. Long time.
Hello, long
Morning,
time. Yes, lovely to
Shepard.
see you, Julia. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're
I'm doing
still,
fine, thank you.
still sitting in Sweden, right?
Yes, I am.
Mm.
Yes. Hi,
And
Hela. Hello, Charles.
Morning,
Hi,
Shepard.
Shepard.
We're just waiting for the translator to join us, and I'll put some music on now. Unfortunately, Previn is sick, so we don't have our lovely video flow. So I'll put a slide up and then Sandy, can you please make Shepard and myself and Charles a co-host so that we can help you manage sound if we need to?
Sure, Prof.
And Julia, you've got the list of speakers from Charles, hey?
yeah, I have them. Some unpronounceable names, but I will try. No, it's not that bad. I manage. So your Vice Chancellor is coming. That's good.
Yes, Dr. Mabizela. Or Professor Mabizela, sorry.
Professor. Okay.
Professor Mabizela, yes.
So we have to change that.
Morning, Agua. I see your sound is not on either. Okay, Agua's sound is on.
Good morning.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning.
Hi.
I just want to test the sound. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
perfectly.
yes, we can.
Thank you very much. Now I'm waiting for the Mr. Bazu is arriving in few minutes.
Okay.
Thank
So
you
welcome.
very much.
Thank you.
It's how higher.
Zandi, can you just put that slide on that you had yesterday, the sort of cover slide for the program, and then I'll try and get some music going here.
I'll do that, Prof.
Do you have news from Lydia? Has she joined already? Charles, do you know if Lydia manages?
No, she's not yet. She hasn't joined. Let me quickly check with Frida.
I think Frida is on leave. Munya, maybe.
Good morning, Antonia. Can we please check your sound?
Zandi, could you put Lulu across into the panelists?
Sure, will do.
And then Lulu, if you can you see if you can play just some soft music for us from that side? I'm struggling to get it working here. Let me try again.
We'll try, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah, for some reason it's not playing on my side.
Good morning, Antonia. Can we check your sound, please?
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sandy and Antonia, I'm not seeing the interpretation button. Can you just check that it's...
Well, it's not yet showing on my screen.
Yes, Zandy, what do... Aha, there we go. Thank you. So Julia, when we start, just to remind people that they can select Portuguese or English from the interpretation button.
Yeah. So Lydia is unfortunately, you're here, Lydia.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I was just told that you won't join, but we are very happy to see you. It's good.
No, just to make sure that the connection
Welcome,
works.
Lydia.
Okay.
Thanks.
Morning, Lydia, and morning, Dr. Mabizela.
Bon
Dr.
dia.
Professor Mabizela is also here. Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Bom dia. So we are speaking Portuguese now.
Yes.
Today is Portuguese through and through.
Yeah, I will do my intervention in Portuguese, but we do have a translation. So
Good, thanks.
I'll fine. As long as I don't have to moderate in Portuguese, I'm fine.
no problem.
I was just told that we should read out your opening, Lydia, because you're not well. I know you're not well, so we really appreciate that you're still joining us.
No, it's important. And a little bit better today. It's work in progress.
Okay, I think I just got the green light to start. We have so far 42 participants. That's a good turnout. So good morning, everybody. I'm Julia Heiss. I'm working in the education team at the Regional Office for Southern Africa, UNESCO Regional Office for Southern Africa, and I'm really pleased to moderate this opening session of the Sustainability Starts with Teachers online course. As a very first announcement, I would like to hint you to the globe at the bottom of your screen. That's where you get the translation in Portuguese. So the globe at the bottom of the screen. While, as you know, the course has already started earlier this week, but we shifted the opening to today because we really wanted to make sure that all our key people are in that meeting, in particular our director. The framework for the work we are doing here with you is, of course, Education for Sustainable Development. UNESCO has been leading education for sustainable development since a very long time, officially since 2005, when we had the decade for ESD. Then we had a global action program for ESD, which focused on scaling and boosting up education for sustainable development at all levels and globally. And the framework we are operating right now is ESD for 2030, which tries to empower governments to give ESD a prominent place in their policies, and also make sure that we link ESD and clearly demonstrate how education for sustainable development can help achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. So here, Sustainability Starts with Teachers is the flagship program in our region, and we are very proud of it. It is now the fourth phase of the program, and you, the newly joining countries, Angola and Mozambique, have the full benefit of all the wisdom and the lessons learned from earlier countries. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to our director, Professor Lydia Arthur Brito, who actually will speak to you in Portuguese. So handing over to you, Lydia.
Thank you very much, Julia, and good morning to everybody. And it's really a great honor and pleasure to be in this opening ceremony of the online course, specifically to Angola and Mozambique participants. And like Julia said, I'm going to use the opportunity to speak my mother tongue. So with your permission, I will switch to Portuguese. Bom dia a todos, e dizer que é grande prazer estar com vocês hoje aqui nesta cerimónia de abertura deste curso virtual que tem por objeto realmente trabalhar com os professores e os professores dos professores de Angola e de Moçambique. Eu gostaria de começar por reconhecer a presença de Sua Excelência Manuel Bazo, vice-ministro de Educação e Desenvolvimento Humano de Moçambique, Sua Excelência o professor Eugênio Alves da Silva, secretário de Estado para o Ensino Superior de Angola. Queria também reconhecer a distinguida presença do Dr. Siuese Mabicela, que é o reitor da Universidade de Rhodes, também a presença da senhora professora Eila Lotz Sisitika, também da Rhodes University e alguém que tem estado conosco durante todos estes processos. Queria também reconhecer a presença do Dr. Shepard Orange, do CUEDSD, também a presença dos doutores Sabino Nascimento e Aguiar Baguete, que são os nossos coordenadores país para o programa SST. Também um reconhecimento muito grande às equipas da Universidade de Rhodes e, sem dúvida, a minha equipa da UNESCO Rosa, do Escritório Regional para a África Austral, da UNESCO, e a todos vocês, queridos participantes, que finalmente este curso é para vocês e é para com vocês construir realmente ações e visões que são importantes, principalmente porque o mundo de hoje é um mundo de mudanças e desafios rápidos e vertiginosos. Enquanto as sociedades estão cada vez mais jovens, e a África e a nossa região em particular, e também muito mais conectadas, a mobilidade global e a migração estão a aumentar. O número de novos conflitos em todo o mundo também está a aumentar, juntamente com os níveis de desigualdade. A pobreza, a poluição ambiental, a intolerância e a violência continuam a ser enormes desafios. Enquanto as alterações climáticas se estão a tornar cada vez mais evidentes, trazendo consigo o aumento de catástrofes naturais e impulsionando o movimento de refugiados. A pandemia de Covid-19 só reforçou estas tendências. Neste contexto, os Estados-membros da Comunidade de Desenvolvimento da África Austral, a SADC, prevêem um desenvolvimento sustentável, próspero e inclusivo através da criação de emprego e de novas oportunidades para os seus povos. Salvaguardar o rico património cultural e natural que sustenta a vida e as comunidades da região faz parte dessa visão. Atualmente, os desafios na região incluem a desigualdade, portanto, não estamos alheios à realidade mundial, onde a desigualdade e o desemprego são realmente questões fundamentais que enfrentamos como Estados, como cidadãos, como organizações. Temos também uma base de recursos naturais cada vez mais degradada e um desenvolvimento institucional inadequado para a qualidade da educação necessária para o desenvolvimento sustentável da região. Os objetivos para todos os países incluem a educação para o aumento da produtividade agrícola, a industrialização sustentável, incluindo uma economia circular. Inclui também o investimento no desenvolvimento de infraestruturas e as energias renováveis, juntamente com a educação que apoia a conservação da biodiversidade, a utilização sustentável, justa e equitativa dos recursos genéticos, o ar limpo e a água e uma melhor capacidade adaptativa às alterações climáticas. Tudo isto tem implicações para uma educação de qualidade e para a educação de professores e para a educação profissional, para o ensino superior, bem como para a aprendizagem de adultos e comunidades no contexto da África Austral.
Learning of the adult on the context of Southern Africa.
A Unesco, ao promover a educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável, ISD, está a liderar o desenvolvimento desta nova abordagem humanista à procura de respostas novas e dinâmicas a questões antigas. A ISD tem como objetivo desenvolver as competências que capacitem os indivíduos a questionar e a refletir sobre as suas próprias ações, para examinar os seus impactos sociais, culturais, económicos e ambientais, atuais e futuros, numa perspectiva local e global. Através da ISD, os alunos são capazes de ganhar competências de vida fundamentais para o pensamento crítico e a capacidade de serem ativos na busca de um desenvolvimento sustentável. Como disse a Júlia, a Unesco lidera a ISD desde 2015 e o reconhecimento internacional da ISD como elemento integrante da educação de qualidade e um facilitador fundamental para o desenvolvimento sustentável tem crescido desde a década da educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável e ao longo do programa de acompanhamento global, conhecido como o Programa de Ação Global sobre o Desenvolvimento Sustentável. Recentemente, a Unesco lançou em outubro de 2020 um novo quadro de educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável, alcançar os Objetivos de Desenvolvimento Sustentável, ISD para 2030, e foi lançado em outubro de 2020 um roteiro para a sua implementação em África. A nível regional, em março deste ano, começamos a insistir na nossa própria estratégia do ISD SADC, a partir do ISD Global para 2030, mas contextualizando as necessidades da nossa região. É com grande satisfação que vos informo.
Excuse me, Lydia. Sorry,
Yes.
I just because the interpretation has now jumped to the Portuguese version. I'm getting messages that people have lost the interpretation. So please go to the Portuguese bottom of interpretation. That's why you will hear the English interpretation.
Yes, sorry, I was with in the floor. Sorry for this confusion. Como estava a dizer, é com grande satisfação que vos informo que o projeto do quadro estratégico da ISD para a SADC será apresentada à reunião conjunta dos ministros da Educação, Informação e de Ciência, Tecnologia e Inovação da SADC em meados deste mês de junho. Distintos participantes, a educação é uma componente crítica da Agenda 2030, não só como objetivo de desenvolvimento por si só, mas também porque a educação apoia a concretização de outros objetivos. E assim, propõe um novo foco para a educação, um novo foco para os processos de aprendizagem e currículos, incluindo currículos de educação de professores e programas. Como principais impulsionadores desta agenda, os professores precisam de receber uma atenção especial e precisam de ser apoiados através do reforço das capacidades. A sustentabilidade começa com os professores, um programa de capacitação para educadores de professores em educação para desenvolvimento sustentável que está a funcionar agora neste contexto. O seu objetivo geral, como disse a Júlia também, é reforçar a educação para desenvolvimento sustentável, ou seja, a implementação dos ODS em instituições de ensino para professores, educadores de primeira infância, do sistema educativo primário, secundário e formação profissional. Começamos a implementar o programa em 2019 e até a data tenho o prazer de partilhar convosco que temos bem mais de 200 professores e educadores de Tibete, em mais de 100 instituições, envolvidas em processos transformadores de educação para desenvolvimento sustentável, a que chamamos projetos de mudança, em 9 países, nomeadamente Zimbábue, Botsuana, Namíbia, Zâmbia, Lesoto, África do Sul, Malawi, Eswatini e Tanzânia. Muito em breve, teremos projetos de mudança adicionais vindos destes 2 países que estão a participar neste curso, Angola e Moçambique. Como aludi, o programa SST tornou-se um elemento integrante da educação para desenvolvimento sustentável para a Agenda 2030. Este curso regional é um marco importante do programa e gostaria de dar as bem-vindas aos colegas de Angola e de Moçambique e incentivá-los a participarem ativamente no curso online. Através deste curso, vocês, enquanto participantes, desenvolverão competências para analisar criticamente os desafios da sustentabilidade local e discutir como estes podem ser abordados através da educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável e da integração dos Objetivos de Desenvolvimento Sustentável, ODS, no sistema escolar e no currículo de educação do professor e também na educação profissional. Realmente é um grande prazer e uma honra estar com vocês nesta abertura oficial e realmente permitir-me também neste momento agradecer aos seguintes parceiros, sem os quais não seríamos capazes de continuar este programa tão importante. O primeiro parceiro que eu gostaria de agradecer é a SIDA, por fornecer todo o financiamento para este programa. Queria também agradecer realmente do fundo do meu coração, como dizemos em português, a Universidade de Rhodes, a nossa parceira de implementação, em particular a professora Eila Lotse Sitikwa e a sua equipa do Centro de Investigação em Aprendizagem Ambiental, pelo trabalho árduo que levou ao desenvolvimento de uma versão online do curso, como uma resposta inteligente e rápida à pandemia do Covid. Aos nossos colegas do CEUEDES, por prestar o apoio metodológico, principalmente a metodologia utilizada nos projetos de mudança, através dos quais as instituições serão treinadas e orientadas para introduzir mais mudanças estruturais no âmbito da educação para desenvolvimento sustentável. Uma palavra de apreço também à Associação de Universidades Regionais da África Austral, SARUA, que apoia o programa com a sua rede e assegura a política de ensino superior e os diálogos de liderança durante e após o curso. A nível nacional, realmente uma palavra de apreço e muito agradecimento aos Ministérios da Educação e das Instituições Nacionais de Educação Técnica e Profissional por apoiar e participar ativamente no programa. Eu desejo a todos um curso agradável, esclarecedor, interessante e uma implementação bem-sucedida dos projetos de mudança nas suas respectivas instituições para tornar os objetivos do programa uma realidade num futuro próximo. Muito obrigada, uma boa participação e realmente um prazer estar com vocês e compartilhar este momento. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lydia, for your opening remarks. And as you said, we are immensely grateful to our partners, starting with the Rhodes University, who really spearheaded it, ESD since over a decade and more in the regions, let's say more than over a decade, but for a decade together with UNESCO. And we are very lucky to have you as a partner, and we really consider you also as the brain in that partnership. I'm therefore also very happy and grateful that we have the Vice Chancellor, Professor Sizwe Mapitsela, with us, who is going to give us some welcome remarks. Handing over to you, Professor Mapitsela.
Program Director, Julia Hess, Director of the UNESCO ROSA, Lydia Brito, representatives of the Swedish International Development Agency, Michelle Buchert, representative of SUDEST, Dr. Shepard Urange, teacher education government representatives from Angola and Mozambique, distinguished Professor Haila Lotsi-Sitka, course participants, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, bon dia. On behalf of Rhodes University, I offer our warmest welcome to each one of you to this exciting UNESCO Cedar Rhodes University Sustainability Starts with Teachers program. I wish to extend a special welcome to the participants who are joining this program for the very first time. I have been advised that approximately 50 participants from Angola and also about 50 from Mozambique have registered for the online course. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm certain that you'll find it most informative, rich, and empowering. Thanks to the power of digital technology, even under these challenging circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are able to connect with you and to work on this very important program, which is aimed at advancing one of the greatest imperatives that fall upon our generation: to ensure inclusive and sustainable development in our region and in the world. On behalf of our university, I wish to pledge our full and unqualified support of this UNESCO-led capacity building program for educators who will be capacitated to integrate education for sustainable development in all areas of education. We are supremely privileged to have distinguished Professor Haila Lotsi-Sitka, whose passion, commitment, and dedication to this program knows no bounds. This program is one of the most important flagship programs in our university, and it enjoys a pride of place. I must indicate that we truly value and treasure the incredible partnership we have established over the years with the UNESCO Region Office for Southern Africa. We are immensely grateful for the funding agencies that have seen the wisdom of supporting this critically important program. We're equally appreciative of the productive and progressive role played by the regional governments in their support of efforts to realize inclusive and sustainable development goals. Colleagues, the challenges that face humankind are real, and they are immense. My simple message is this: we are not helpless, we are not hopeless, nor are we without agency in addressing the challenges that face humanity. We can change the destructive course that we are on and create a more hopeful, a more inclusive, and a sustainable future for all. It is the choices that we individually and collectively make that continue to impact adversely on all of us and the planet that we inhabit. This program, Sustainability Starts with Teachers, which targets teacher and TVET educators, is a critical effort to advance the objective of realizing inclusive and sustainable development in our region. The profound and inescapable reality is that in order for us to make progress towards the achievement of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, education, which is goal number 4, is a critical prerequisite. It is through knowledge, skills, attitudes, values, and behavioral change that we can achieve inclusive and sustainable development. It is in equipping teachers and young people of our region and the world with the appropriate knowledge, skills, and values that we can advance this goal. It is knowledge that leads to attitudinal and behavioral change that will make young people of our region agents of change and advocates for inclusive and sustainable development. It is knowledge that helps people understand their relationship with one another and their relationship with the environment in which they live. It is knowledge that helps people understand how to use our natural resources in a sustainable manner to sustain current and future generations. It is therefore vitally important that all our teacher training programs and curricula at every level of education infuse and integrate sustainable development in all the learning that takes place from early childhood development through university. This will equip our children and our youth with the knowledge and skills to interact with our environment, our natural resources, and with one another, with a view to ensuring sustainable existence. We must address economic, social, and environmental issues in a coordinated and integrated manner to ensure inclusive and sustainable development. We must invest in our educators and young generation to ensure a socially just, humane, and equitable society anchored on inclusive and sustainable development. I hope that the participants in this course will understand and appreciate the importance of integrating principles, values, and practices of inclusive and sustainable development in all aspects of education and in all aspects of learning. I sincerely hope that this course will help deepen our educators' knowledge and understanding of the interrelatedness and the inseparability of economic development, environmental justice, social justice, human rights, and sustainable development. And that through this knowledge, we can act individually and collectively and bequeath future generations a better and a more sustainable world than the one we have inherited from the generation before us. Let this course be a critical foundation stone of building a more just, a more humane, a more equitable, a more caring, a fairer, a more compassionate, a more inclusive, and a more sustainable world. Let me conclude by paying a special tribute to a truly special person, Carolyn Medal-Ananova, the recently retired head of education in the UNESCO Rosa office. We have worked closely with her. We have enjoyed her warm friendship and her commitment to this program, and we have always been hugely inspired by her. On behalf of Rhodes University, I wish her well as she embarks on the next phase of her life. She has made her mark. I must also thank all the funders that have walked this journey with us. They have made it possible for us to make a contribution, which we hope will be sustained in our region. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Obrigado.
Thank you very much, Professor Manisela, for your very pertinent opening remarks. I think you put it so nicely. You see, we want to empower teacher educators to become these change agents and hopefully feel, as you in your words said, that they are not helpless, that they are not hopeless, and that they are not without agents, and they can become these change agents. Thank you very much for the opening remarks. And I'm now calling upon our colleague from Angola, Professor Eugenio Alves da Silva, who is the State Secretary of Higher Education. The floor is yours. Do we have Professor da Silva with us, colleagues?
Charles, can you just check? I'm just wondering if Professor da Silva has come in. I can't see unless...
I don't see him. Maybe, Julia, we can move on to Mozambique, also trying to trace.
Okay, then let us just check whether if Mr. Basso is here. Is he with us? Yeah, I can see him. Okay, please. Mr. Manuel Basso, you're the Deputy Minister of Education and Human Development.
Muito bom dia.
I'm giving you the floor. Thank you very much.
Sim. Muito bom dia e obrigado pela palavra. Na verdade, a representação do Ministério da Educação e Desenvolvimento Humano participa o secretário permanente, Abel Assis, em nome de Sua Excelência o Vice-Ministro da Educação e Desenvolvimento Humano, Manuel Basso. Então, passarei, se me permitirem, a apresentar a minha intervenção. A senhora Diretora Regional da Unesco, Rosa, Dr. Ciso Bizela, e todo o protocolo observado. Em nome do Ministério da Educação e Desenvolvimento Humano, gostaria de cumprimentar a todos os participantes a este importante evento pelo empenho e compromisso na promoção de uma educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável, particularmente para o nosso país, mas também à escala global. Agradeço também pelo convite que nos foi formulado para tecer algumas considerações acerca do tema. Num país como Moçambique, com uma vasta biodiversidade, um mosaico cultural vasto, onde os efeitos das mudanças climáticas são cada vez mais visíveis, notando-se a ocorrência de ciclones, cheias e secas cíclicas, a educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável torna-se uma prioridade incontornável. Algumas práticas humanas, tais como as queimadas descontroladas, o desflorestamento, tornam os seres humanos mais vulneráveis. À medida que as florestas são destruídas, não só os animais são ameaçados e o ecossistema afetado, mas também os humanos ficam expostos aos agentes infecciosos que podem ameaçar as nossas vidas. Isto significa que a forma como os seres humanos têm usado os recursos para a satisfação das suas necessidades deve mudar para um uso sustentável. Esse é um dos objetivos da educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável, que deriva da compreensão que o homem passa a ter de que ele é parte integrante da natureza e que a sua destruição é a própria autodestruição da humanidade. A educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável coloca ênfase na contribuição da educação para a realização dos objetivos do desenvolvimento sustentável. O seu objetivo é rever valores que sustentam a educação e reorientam todos os níveis de educação e aprendizagem para contribuir para o desenvolvimento sustentável e para reforçar a educação e a aprendizagem em todas as atividades que promovem o desenvolvimento sustentável. A educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável é um elemento integrante dos ambiciosos, mas pertinentes Objetivos de Desenvolvimento Sustentável, em particular do Objetivo 4 e 7, e assenta na visão da década das Nações Unidas para a Educação para o Desenvolvimento Sustentável, para o período 2005-2014. Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, com vista a mitigar os efeitos das mudanças climáticas, com o apoio da Unesco, Moçambique, através do Ministério da Educação e Desenvolvimento Humano, da Terra e Ambiente e outros parceiros, tem implementado atividades com vista à integração dos princípios para a educação para o desenvolvimento sustentável nos seus currículos e noutras atividades conducentes ao alcance da Agenda 2030. Como resultado dos esforços do governo de Moçambique, o Parque das Quimbas foi designado em 2018 Reserva da Biosfera da Unesco, o que representa um grande orgulho, mas também uma grande responsabilidade para todos nós. Em 2020, a Unesco Moçambique, em parceria com o Ministério da Educação e a ANAC, iniciou a implementação do projeto Promovendo a Educação para o Desenvolvimento Sustentável, financiado pelo governo sueco. Dentre várias atividades, o projeto prevê a capacitação dos formadores de professores e diferentes técnicos do setor de educação para que possam integrar conteúdos de desenvolvimento sustentável no currículo de ensino a vários níveis. O projeto prevê também a implementação dos princípios de desenvolvimento sustentável na sala de aulas e nas escolas e financiamento de iniciativas escolares de desenvolvimento sustentável, como são, por exemplo, as hortas escolares. Este projeto está a ser implementado numa das nossas províncias de Moçambique, na Reserva Especial de Maputo e em Cabo Delgado, no Parque Nacional das Quimbas. Esta iniciativa, que visa criar uma equipa nacional para o desenvolvimento sustentável, é uma continuidade deste projeto, mas também com um alcance nacional. Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, com o curso que hoje se lança, que tem como foco formadores de professores, esperamos que a capacidade dos professores seja reforçada para que as crianças, que são o futuro da manhã, possam estar melhor preparadas para proteger o nosso planeta e, com isso, possam viver de forma sustentável. Na esteira do acima exposto, termino exortando a todos para um máximo aproveitamento das aprendizagens que este curso vai proporcionar, para que possa transferir da melhor maneira para as crianças os conhecimentos, os valores necessários para que elas venham a ter uma relação salutar com o seu meio ambiente. Por uma educação patriótica e de qualidade e por práticas sustentáveis para um ambiente seguro para todos, o meu muito obrigado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basil, for your words. We are very happy to see your support to the program and also the support of your ministry. And we hope that the SST course and the trained body of teacher educators from the course will help also Mozambique to embark in the reforms you have mentioned with regard to curriculum changes, integrating ESC in the curriculum and teacher education. I'm now inquiring again with my colleagues if Mr. Da Silva has joined us by now.
Julia, maybe you can move on to the next. Not yet. I'm trying to call.
Thank you, Charles. So I'm calling upon another very important partner in our work in ESD in the region for a long time, which is the Swedish Institute for ESD, and here presented by Dr. Shepard Orenye. I'm very happy to see you, Shepard, and I'm looking forward to your remarks.
Thank you very much, Julia, for having me. I would like to start by acknowledging the presence of the Director of UNESCO. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Mabizela from Rhodes University, and also the presence of Professor Hayla from Rhodes University, and the ministry representatives from Angola and Mozambique, and also our valued participants. I would like to begin also by acknowledging what the Director of UNESCO has said, because that is what I am going to be addressing as I welcome everybody to this course. She said that we are living in a world of constant change. We are in a world which is characterized by change, and this change is increasing by the time. I also want to acknowledge what Professor Mabizela has said, that we should take note of our resilience, that we as teachers in Southern Africa, we will make change happen. In other words, we are agents of change. What I would like to talk about as we open this session is not something that is new. I just want to remind ourselves about teaching and learning for an unknown future. What we know is that the future will change, but what exactly will be changing, we are not sure of. So in that case, what kind of education are we going to have when we are working in a future that we are not sure of? In other words, education for a future as a constant. A well-known philosopher from Greek, he was a Greek philosopher, way back in 500 BC, has this famous saying that we still use today, that change is the only constant. And he is also known for saying, no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river and he is not the same person. And still in that vein, I also want to quote the Justin Trudeau from Canada, who said in 2018 at the Davos meeting in Switzerland, this is what he said. He said, think about it. The pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow. And I would like to say this morning that the pace of change will never be as slow as it is today. In other words, the rate of change in the world is far outpacing the rate of change in education. Changes in climate change, widespread species extinction, fish stocks collapsing, desertification, ocean acidification, pandemics, pollution, and other large-scale shifts. All these are changing at a rate which is much faster than our education system is responding. And we have been doing research. We have been doing many changes in the things that are facing us around our communities. But what comes out quite clearly in our education system is that research alone does not change practice. But now we have got a real chance that in sustainability starts with teachers. Whatever research or findings that we have had in our education system, we can put them into practice. In other words, we now have a real chance of closing the gap between education research and practice, education theory and practice. The thing that we have always wanted to change in education, we can put them into practice now. I have got a few questions that I would like to challenge ourselves with. The first one being that, how do we plan for something we cannot predict? We only know that change will happen, but what exactly is going to be, in what the form in which it is going to take, we are not quite sure of. And also, what does it mean to learn for an unknown future? That's what we are doing. The future is unknown, but we still have to teach student teachers, and who have to teach our young people. What does it mean to learn for an unknown future? And also, is the future as an unknown missing from our curriculum and or from our pedagogy? The future as an unknown, does it appear in the teachings that we are engaged in, especially when we train our teachers? And also, is the future, if the future is unknown, what kind of teaching and learning is appropriate for it? And also, are we in the presence of a learning for an unknown future? When we get into our classrooms, are we in that classroom in the presence of a learning for an unknown future? And lastly, I will also ask, how is the concept of change as a constant addressed in our curricula? So the unprecedented pace of change should actually be reflected in the pace of change in education, because the rapidity with which a new world is replacing the old is accelerating. There is a sense of an unknown world which should enter into curricula and pedagogical decision-making. We are now in a time where we need new kinds of teaching and learning. I would like to use a quote here where I would like to illustrate that it is not possible to arrest change. We know that. If it is not possible to arrest change, then how can we respond to that? Ray Kurzweil had this to say: we are entering an age of acceleration. The models underlying society at every level, which are largely based on a linear model of change, are going to have to be redefined. Because of the explosive power of exponential growth, the 21st century will be equivalent to 20,000 years of progress at today's rate of progress. Organization and education have to be able to redefine themselves at a faster and faster pace. And I would like to challenge us this morning that this fast pace of change should be an opportunity for reorienting our teaching and learning. And how is the sustainability start with teachers going to help us to achieve that opportunity? Sustainability starts with teachers is an opportunity of empowering students, both student teachers and also students in the classroom, to be co-producers of knowledge, developing competencies and capabilities for transition towards sustainability. For an example, conflicts and climate change are drastically increasing the number of refugees and displaced people who need proactive preventive strategies. Science is telling us that climate change will trigger more and more worst ever hurricanes, rains, fires, tornadoes, mudslides, droughts, wars, genocides, fascist trends, ethical cleansings, and many others. Young people are and will continue to face problems that they did not create, but still have to clean up or figure out how to live with. So to do that, they will need to generate new knowledge, but we are not teaching them how to do that. At least in most cases, we are struggling to teach them how they can generate new knowledge. And we ourselves need to be in a position where we are generating new knowledge as well. Education is not keeping up with our fast-moving world. And here is what needs to change. I propose: 1, co-creation of knowledge, which involves the problem formulation rather than problem solving. 2, changing mindsets, perspectives, values, understandings, and meanings, tools through which we construct or reconstruct reality and identity. 3, skills and competencies need to keep up with the constant need to reinvent how we work and live together. And then 4, most importantly, the radical changes in our society that empower young people with new kinds of knowledge or competencies, many of which are not even fully understood or codified for learning. And lastly, we need to include emotional intelligence, intellectual sensitivity, creativity, problem formulation rather than problem solving, economic citizenship, empathy, adaptability, and resilience. So the change project approach, what should we fix and why? This is the question that comes into play. When we get engaged in sustainability, starts with teachers. You will be tasked to formulate and do a change project. What is it that you are fixing and why are you fixing it? I will use the quote from Albert Einstein. The more formulation of a problem is far more essential than its solution, which may be merely a matter of mathematical or experimental skill. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advances in science. So what we are saying here is we need to formulate the challenges that we are facing. This will only make it possible or easier for us to deal with the challenges as and when they come. I will use an example here of how complex the situation or the world in which we live is unfolding. I will use an example of socks. Buying socks, for an example, is a matter of life and death. In the world, in the world we are trying to help young people understand everything, connects to everything. We want a pair of socks, for an example. Those available have been knitted in a third world country. Power to run the knitting machines is supplied by burning fossil fuels. Burning fossil fuels contributes to global warming. Global warming alters weather patterns. Altered weather patterns trigger environmental catastrophes. Environmental catastrophes destroy infrastructure. Money spent for infrastructure replacement isn't available for health care. Declines in the quality of health care affects mortality rates. Mortality is a matter of life and death. Buying socks then is a matter of life and death. If we can make sense of this, making sense of this simple cause-effect sequence requires an understanding of how different fields fit together. It requires an understanding of marketing, physics, chemistry, meteorology, economics, engineering, psychology, sociology, political science, and a couple of other fields which have not been mentioned or talked about in the school. This is where Sustainable Development Goal 4.7 comes in, which states by 2030, ensure all learners acquire knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among other things, through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of culture of peace and non-violence, global citizenship, and appreciation of cultural diversity and of culture's contribution to sustainable development. We need to shift the discourse from learning new skills to enabling the processes that create these skills and competencies. Sustainability starts with teachers is a good platform for us to demonstrate and come up with something which is quite different. I would like to thank my colleagues from UNESCO, my colleagues from Rhodes University, and all the colleagues that are from Angola and also from Mozambique. We welcome you to this course, and I hope it will help you to leave a mark in the work that you're doing in teacher education. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Shepard. I should, of course, have said in the introduction that we are owing the methodology of change projects very much to the work that Shepard and Swedest has done, and you could hear that in his presentation. You know, so keep on challenging us, keep on challenging the program, and make sure that we are speeding up those changes in the education systems that are necessary for education to respond to the complex and changing challenges, global challenges. Thank you very much for these really inspiring words, Shepard. It seems that our colleague from Angola was not able to join us. So our suggestion is that we simply keep the opening session shorter than previously foreseen. I would like to switch on my camera. I forgot that, sorry. I would like to wish all course participants good luck, a lot of inspiration, good success in your assignments and your course. We would also like to announce that next Thursday, there will be a graduation ceremony online, virtually, as it is nowadays, for about 100 participants. So keep that in mind. And with this, I would like to thank all the speakers for being with us, for their inspiring presentations, for their support throughout the project and also the course. And now I'm handing over to the mother of ESD and of the SSE project, Hela Lotsisika, Professor Lotsisika, for her closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Julia. And I also want to just appreciate the UNESCO director, the new director of the UNESCO Rosa office. It's wonderful to see you again, Lydia, even though it's online this time. We were happy to meet you in Johannesburg when we had the ESD policy dialogue there. Of course, also to appreciate my very dear Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor Mabizela, who is incredibly supportive of the work that we are doing in sustainability. And in fact, our university has a, in its institutional development plan, we have embraced sustainability and are working on integrating it into the entire university and its activities. So this is a very encouraging and exciting period also for us here at Rhodes University, with that in our formally into our university policy now. I also want to appreciate the Deputy Minister from Mozambique and of course all of my colleagues, and also Shepard, whom I don't think my Vice Chancellor knows, is also a graduate of Rhodes University. Shepard, we met when we started these courses in 1997. He was on the first SST course with me and went on to do his master's degree and then continued in ESD internationally and is now working in Swedest and has supported these courses and the change projects for many, many years, since the early days in the SADC Regional Environmental Education Program. So it's wonderful for me to be here, to be able to thank everybody for joining us today in the opening of, this is our 4th iteration of this course, and it is the first one that we're doing in 2 languages. So it's been a big experience for us also to prepare for this course in terms of getting all of the translations in place and getting ready to be able to work collaboratively with our Mozambique and Angolan colleagues also in their language, not just in English. So a big experience for us. And I'm very grateful to the team here at Rhodes University that have been working with me to make this happen. We have a big team here. We have an e-learning expert, Dr. Wilma van Staden. We have Preven and Maleche, who've been helping us with the online tech work, which is huge actually, and communications work and much more. We have Luanda Makwalana, who's helping us with communications today. So you'll be able to see some of the speeches coming through. And I'm very grateful to colleagues also in the UNESCO office, Dr. Charles Chikunda, Julia Heiss, and of course, Carolyn, who is just retired, and then Patience as well. So from my side, I would just like to thank everybody for the big effort that has gone into making this initiative work. When COVID-19 hit us, we had to go online. We made the most beautiful online course, and we're very excited that the first 100 participants will be graduating from that online course next week. So please, we will be having more webinars, another one tomorrow with we'll have the reference group members from the different countries that have been working with the groups in the different countries. They'll be coming to share the country-based experience with us tomorrow. And then next week, we'll have another set of webinars on Thursday, the big graduation ceremony. And in the meantime, we are still supporting participants from Angola and Mozambique to register for the online course. And if anybody is still struggling to register for the online course, please do contact Dr. Wilma van Staden. I see Zandi put her email address into the chat. Zandi, maybe you can just drop it in again. So if anybody is still struggling to register, I see Wilma has put her address in. If anybody is still struggling to register for the online course, please do contact Dr. Wilma van Staden. She will help you to get registered for the online course. So I think, Julia, with those words, I think we can probably finish. It's just gone 12 o'clock. So over to you. Thank you.
That was my mic not on. Thank you very much, Hela. I think you really did a fantastic closing. Thanked everybody. It also showed what a great collective effort this work and the course is. Just from my side again, thank you everybody for joining us for the very, very inspiring speeches. All the very, very best to the course participant, and we are looking forward to the continuation of the course starting or continuing tomorrow. Thank you. All the best to everybody. And thank you for the translators as well.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Obrigado. Adios.
Obrigado.
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 Hi,
Bom dia,
everyone.
boa tarde, obrigado.
Muito obrigado. Adeus. Tchau.
Adeus.
Thank you, Agua.
Bye.
Bye-bye.